Okay, we're on Sheviit, Perek Tet, Mishnah Dalet, the fourth Mishnah in the 9th chapter of Sheviit. So until now, we've learned that in order for a person to benefit, to still be eating Sheviit, he has to eat what's called, he has to be eating from the produce as long as, remember we learned, it has to be it has to be available for them. So therefore, we learned that as long as the produce is available in the field, as long as the produce is available, then you can still eat it in your house. Okay, so our Mishnah is a continuation of that rule. It says the Mishnah, "Ochlin al hamufkar." You can eat as long as there's still food hefker available outside. Okay, but avalo al hashamur. But you're not allowed to eat. Let's say, for example, somebody closed off he locked off his field, or he closed off his garden, and therefore he still has mangoes in his field, but everywhere else there's no mangoes left in the hefker. So or he brought it into his house, which is even worse, which he's not allowed to do. So a person can't say, well, I have it in my house because my neighbor still has it in his house. You can't say that because you can't base the idea of availability on shamur. Rather, you can only base it on mufkar. Mufkar means that which is hefker. Says the Bartanura, ochlim mimasha bebeit bayit al yedei shematsui me'oto amin basadeh b'mafko mukar. Has to be found in the field b'makom mufkar, in a hefker place. Aval im pasak v'halakha la'oto amin mimakom mufkar. But if it's no longer available in a hefker place, afal pi shenimtza b'makom hashamur, even though it's you can find still in a closed off area, b'batim or b'ginot, in houses or gardens, chayav leva'er. As we said, lachaya min hasadeh, kala lachaya min hasadeh, kala lebehemtecha min habayit. If it's gone from the animals in the field, from the wild animals, then you can no longer keep it. Rabbi Yossi is quite surprising. Rabbi Yossi matir afal hashamur. Rabbi Yossi says no. Even if a person is keeping it for himself, that's still enough so that a person who has something in his house, he doesn't have to do biur. We don't pass on like Rabbi Yossi. Mishnah continues. Ochlim ala tfichim ve'al hadufra. So tfichim is very interesting. There's a machlok about what tfichim is. The Bartanura says tfichim are al masha misimim ha'ofot betfichim. What are tfichim? The birds they save food in their tfichim. Shem klei cheres. They are klei cheres. They are earthenware vessels. Have been yuim bekotel that are built into the wall. Asher sam tziparim yikanenu. That birds would nest in. Okay. If you ever go to Beit Guvrin in Israel, they have these are not made out of cheres, but I think this is what they mean, these tfichim. They would make into the walls, they would make these areas because they would grow doves, they would raise birds. So they would make these areas where the birds would grow. I'm just looking at the Google images. So everybody knows that they would make these places where they would raise these birds in these like bird nests. Okay, so if the birds they keep, that's what the Bartanura says. The birds keep their food in the tfichim. Then you can say it's still out available in the field, and I don't have to do biur. The Rambam says, the Kahati says that the Rambam says tfichim are something different. Tfichim hem gargarim hakashimi minei atvuah. They're very strong, very hard seeds from grain and kitniot and legumes. She'inam nizreim ala tzomchim alem. They grow on their own. Umitkaimim harbei zman varas. They last a long time. So the Rambam says it's not the bird nests, but tfichim are seeds that last a long time. So as long as those wild seeds, the Rambam says, then you don't have to do biur. Ve'al ha-dufra, okay, and also in the dufra is, the Bartanura explains, ilan she'oseh perot shnei pamim b'shana. There are some trees that fruit more than one time. So ochlim barishon ad shichle acharon b'minam. So if you have a tree like that, okay, then you can assume, even though I took from the first time that tree fruited, I can still wait until as long as it's existing in the second time as well, I don't have to do biur. Avalo al ha-sitvaniyot. Sitvaniyot are, sitvaniyot. There are some grapes, okay, that they grow that they ripen in the fall, i.e., well into at the end of the Shemitah year. Okay, so you couldn't rely on those because those fall grapes were not considered part of the normal harvest because they look like the produce of next year, not this year. Rabbi Yehuda matir kozman shebichru ad shelo yichle hakayitz. Rabbi Yehuda says it's okay as long as they become ripened. Ad shelo yichle hakayitz, as long as it's still summertime. Even though they're going to be ripened in the fall time, as long as they're still summer, Rabbi Yehuda says it's okay, and therefore you can rely on them for grapes. We don't pass them like Rabbi Yehuda. We'll stop here. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to contact me at artspolter@gmail.com. I will dedicate the learning to the memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a great day.